Guys, I think Stephen A. Smith has a problem. And this time, it has absolutely nothing to do with basketball. It ain't got nothing to do with ESPN. Truly, it don't have nothing to do with the $100 million contract that he's in the middle of. And believe it or not, guys, it might not even have anything to do with the National Association of Black Journalists giving him their thumbs down award. Guys, I think Stephen A. Smith has reached a level of success where being publicly single might actually be a disadvantage. There. I said it. Nobody else wanted to say it, but y'all know when y'all come to this podcast, we say it. And before everybody starts typing, Jeff done lost his everlasting mind, I just need y'all to hear me out. Because I'm not saying Stephen A. needs somebody to cook his dinner. I'm not saying every successful man needs a wife. And I'm definitely not saying getting married magically makes you a better person and removes your character flaws. I'm saying something completely different. Would people attack Stephen A. Smith the same way they doing right now if America also knew he happened to be somebody else's husband? Think about that. Stephen A. got money. He got power. He got influence. We ain't talking about just anybody on this show. He's got access. He's got celebrity and athlete friends, a massive audience with the #1 show on ESPN. He can call athletes and they pick up. He can call owners and they pick up. He can call politicians and they pick up. He can call executives of all these companies and they pick up. Probably anybody he wants, he can call and they'll pick up the phone on the first ring. But when controversy comes, who's standing next to Stephen A? And right now, guys, he is taking all of this alone. And that's where tonight's conversation gets interesting. Because Rhonda, Mabricio, and I are going to give you 5 ways I think having a publicly recognized spouse or relationship might have changed the entire Stephen A. Smith National Association of Black Journalists situation. But number 5 is the reason I wanted to have this conversation. Because the most valuable person in a powerful man's life may not be his agent. It ain't his lawyer. It ain't his manager. It ain't his publicist. It might be the one person with enough relationship equity to look him dead in the face and say, baby, that tape ain't it. And Stephen A. Smith need that person more than anybody realizes. Stay with us, guys, but because before this show ends, I'm also going to tell you why everything I just said might also be completely wrong. Let's get into this thing right now.
Drink and smoke will swirl. Join the convo around the world. Relationships we dissect slow. Current events, we let them flow.
What up? It's your boy JB coming right back at you. Y'all know what it is. It's the Smoke Something, Drink Something podcast. Let's jump into this thing right now. And I can't go forward without introducing my esteemed relationship expert panel. Y'all know we got to come to New School first. I'm going to let him introduce himself. Tell y'all where y'all can find him on the socials.
Hey, what's up, guys? It's the CEO of Cultivating Better Relationships. That's what I'm here for. New school with old school perspectives. Okay, a little bit of a both. Guys, last time we said, DM me if you think I'm wrong. Some of you guys did DM me, and I'm still going to tell you guys are going to be wrong even at the end of this podcast. So, but come find me at Mabricio. For all you guys that don't know, Mabricio at TikTok, Mabricio.Cartus on Instagram, and looking forward to another episode. Appreciate you, Jeff.
Appreciate you being on. Y'all know who I got next, man. My A1 from day one. Always doing her familiar duties. Make sure the podcast go off every week. I'm going to let her introduce herself. Tell y'all where y'all can find her on the socials.
Be back, JB. What's up, Mabricio? It's your girl, Rhonda. Well, not your girl, Rhonda. You can find me on Instagram at RNBLMBT and TikTok at RonDZ_. Back to you, JB.
Guys, y'all know me, man. Get down in the description. Support me on all the channels. Get the merch. Y'all know the routine. We ain't got to go through it. We've been here for a minute, man. But again, follow me on all the platforms. I'm going to go ahead and say this to y'all. We probably about to make everybody mad tonight because Stephen A. recently received the National Association of Black Journalists 2026 Thumbs Down Award. NABJ stated criticism centered on what is characterized as a pattern of disparaging commentary toward prominent Black women. Stephen A. has pushed back hard against that characterization. So let's establish something immediately, guys. We're not saying marriage would make legitimate criticism illegitimate. We're asking something much more interesting. Does being in a publicly recognized relationship change how society perceives your character? Because ultimately, guys, I think it does. Rhonda probably thinks I'm crazy. Mabricio might think I'm crazy. And half the comments gonna probably think I'm crazy as well. So let's get into this thing. But first, guys, everybody watching gets one vote. Don't overthink it. Are married public figures treated differently than publicly single public-facing figures? Type yes or no. Don't explain it yet. Just vote. Okay? We'll come back at the end and see whether this conversation changed anybody's mind. And guys, if you're new here, hit subscribe because this is what we do every week. We take what's happening in culture and ask the relationship questions nobody's asking that can be tied to it. Now, guys, here's my first argument. When somebody is publicly single, you attack them. When somebody is publicly married, sometimes psychologically it feels like you're attacking them and the innocent somebody beside them. And I think that matters. Not legally, not professionally, but more importantly, it matters emotionally. Imagine you're watching somebody get publicly destroyed, then their spouse walks out beside them. Maybe you've seen them together for 15 years. You've watched their family grow. You've seen birthdays, charity events, vacation, their children, their life together. Suddenly, you're not looking exclusively at Stephen A. Smith, the television personality. You're looking at Stephen A. the husband, Stephen the father or family man, Stephen the human being. And whether people admit it or not, human beings respond to that. Mabricio, here's my question, because I'm going to mix it up a little bit tonight. Mabricio, do you think women view a controversial man different when they see another woman publicly loved and trusting and standing beside him? Because I think that's fascinating. Do you think women view a controversial man different?
I do. Because public perception is everything. A controversial man is out in the world and society, and in the public eye, he could be hated by the whole public. But when they see that another woman loves him, it questions. It's like, what does this woman see about this man? What is so special about this guy? Where it kind of allows people to kind of sympathize with the man in a way. Mm-hmm. And now I'm not saying like everybody's sympathizing, but because of course he's still controversial, so he's still being hated on. But when bad things happen, it's like you almost want to feel bad. Human emotion is a very, very tricky animal. But I definitely do think controversial men are treated a lot different than regular men who might be perceived as invisible in today's world.
Nice. Again, like I said, I think that's a fascinating question. So, Rhonda, piggybacking off of that, do you think another woman's trust creates social credibility for the man?
I think it depends on the woman. I think it depends on the man too. Because no matter what, it's still a certain standard that is there that women have to either look like or be like in order for people to even hear what she has to say. And so to be with the controversial man on some level may give her a platform to be heard. I don't know if it's going to give you a platform to be respected so much with him, but I don't know. I always think it's a double standard when it comes to what women possess, even though we could run the world.
And that's interesting, Rhonda. I'm glad you said that, because the next question I was going to ask, or should it mean nothing? And what do I mean by this, guys? Or should it mean nothing at all? Rhonda just said it depends on the woman. Do y'all see the power of that right there? I asked Mabricio the question first. Mabricio gave me an answer. We asked Rhonda the question. What did she say? It depends on the woman.
Because that's, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
This is what Stephen A. Smith needed, because somebody on that board of directors would have said, hey, man, we like his girl. Don't do that because we like his girl. Somebody on the panel going to be like Mabricio that says, nah, let's get him. One of the things you guys got to find is the woman in your life will decide if people pump the brakes or they going to go full gas.
That's right.
Right? Rhonda just Guys, if we were a board of directors right now and I had to make the decision, I'm the moderator. Mabricio said, hell yeah, it makes sense. Rhonda said, depends on the woman. Now I got this tie-in vote that's going to decide whether we go after this
Rhonda,
person. I'm sorry?
check. You going for Rhonda? Check. Your ride or die, check.
Right?
Yes.
Yes, let me tell you, do y'all realize what's happening to Stephen A. Smith right now? And I'm telling you guys, I don't want to give away too much as we get to the end. Because here's the deal, guys. Do y'all realize we know Stephen A. Smith got kids? He brings his daughter on his podcast. Okay? But this is different than having a daughter that people can see. People want to see who is this, in their mind, who is this woman you're hiding?
Mm.
Right? Who is this woman? Because we know you got somebody. You ain't making $100 million without having somebody, right?
You don't think so?
Oh no. No. He got somebody. If you make it $100 million, you got somebody. But Stephen A is the only person in the spotlight. And this is what's hurting it. Because if we just ask both of y'all a question, Mabricio gave a clear and concise answer, you gave a clear and concise answer. And neither one of them are wrong. But y'all see, depending on who has the majority on that board, that's who voted. Right? That's who voted. Because Rhonda said it depends on who the girl is. It depends on who the woman.
It's no different than high school.
Yes.
You know who was out here giving whatever to everybody when and how and whatever, how they want. And you just,
Yes.
Okay. But if it's somebody that they consider like, a good girl, came from a solid family. You good stock.
Yeah.
It's a difference.
And I'm glad Rhonda said that. Because guys, here's my challenge though. Here's my challenge.
Uh-oh.
If a man's wife says, that's not the man I know, do you listen differently? Not automatically believe her, but do you listen differently? Come on in there, Mabricio. If the woman says, that's not the man I know.
Yeah, you do. Now, I know the women out there are going to say no because men are cheaters and gaslighters and all those words that they use to describe us.
Check.
But when you see a woman, if a man's with a woman, she gets to see another side of that man. A man has to produce an image. Just like we're here when I do my TikTok lives, it might be a different persona than somebody else that knows me. I feel like everybody gets a little fragment of you, but no one gets the whole mask, the person underneath the mask. So that woman spends every day with that guy. So she might see something totally different than what I see, Jeff see, Rhonda sees. Something totally different. And that's why I think they get it wrong.
Rhonda, what's your thoughts on that? Do you listen differently or not?
You may listen differently. You may listen differently, but at the end of the day, who is he lying to? Which one is him? Is he the one she sees?
Let me answer that, Ron.
Yeah.
He lying to both of them.
Damn.
I mean,
it's true.
He just lying to both of them. Right? Everybody not gonna get the same you. So depending on what thing they've gotten themselves into, he lying to both of y'all. Because that's what relationships have become. In order to keep the peace, what do you got to do? Lie. Right? So guys, let me tell y'all this. Stephen A. Smith has a woman. Why can't she come out and publicly endorse him? Say this, y'all don't know how much that man stays up at night thinking about HBCUs, thinking about advancing black journalists, thinking about ways he can bring more attention to the black community. If he had a woman that came out and said that right now, do y'all know? I don't care if the women on your payroll said that, because guess what everybody thinking? Well, of course, they getting paid. They going to say that.
That's your boss. Yeah.
That's your boss. You got to say it. Now, Rhonda, I'm coming at you. Because again, I'm asking it different. I'm asking Mabricio from Think Like a Woman. I'm asking Rhonda to think like a man. Does marriage give a man social credibility that single men don't receive? And if so, is that fair?
They do get social credibility. And absolutely not, it's not fair. What's my saying? Ain't nobody more single than a married man. Okay. And I would stand 10 toes down with that. Like, so no, they do get that fake, yeah, like, oh, he married. Oh, he must be good. It automatically gives him a status. But it also gives her a status, but it definitely gives the man a status. Yeah. Right? That's why when you have somebody who's been married for a long time, then they all up in divorce. It makes you question, like, well, that's odd. And they still gonna blame the woman, and not the tacky man. Yeah, I said. But they still gonna look at the woman funny, and not like, oh, what did the man do? No, it's always what the woman did. I wonder what she did.
Yeah, that is true. Now, Mabricio, being a single man on the panel, Does it give a man social credit? Oh, you say he got his princess out there running?
Yeah,
Does it give a
Princess
man
Six.
social credibility that single men is being married? You think give social credibility compared to a social man to a single man?
Being married signals stability. Being married signals stability, whether that be in job, in the relationship. So in that aspect, they do get credibility. But in today's world, man, everybody's like single. Everyone uses a relationship as a facade to kind of signal that same status. So it, I will say yes. My answer to that question would be yes.
Is it fair or not?
Is it fair?
No.
Life's not fair. Life's not fair. So no.
But let me say this to you guys, because maybe marriage doesn't prevent arrows from coming at you. Maybe it just gives people another reason to hesitate before shooting. And that's a big difference, guys. Stephen A. Smith is getting hit right now. Some of the content I put out there, just because I gave a different perspective, I'm getting hit. Because people don't even watch the full video. There's so many people who are emotionally tired of him. They want to see somebody bring him down. And guys, ain't nothing worse than when you get kicked out of your own community.
Oh.
And now the reason why I'm bringing up the relationship component, if Stephen A would have had a publicly seen relationship, I guarantee you people would have been careful. The president of the NABJ is a black woman. And if Stephen A had a black woman that was public beside him, I guarantee you, I ain't saying he wouldn't have got the award. It just would have been a lot different response because people never want to see the innocent woman get hurt. Y'all know when we're at war, women and children are off limits. That's why Stephen A needs to have some type of a woman with him moving forward because the attack's going to keep coming. The NABJ just gave everybody the blueprint. Why? Stephen A. Smith has gotten so much success that the number one way you insult him is to say he's a sellout, to say he ain't black. If you do that, that is the number one thing that gets him going. So now, here we go, guys. Let's get into number 2. Stephen A. Smith is a fascinating example because his public persona is enormous. When you think of Stephen A., you think opinions, debate, loud, volume, confidence, sports, politics, $100 million contract, television. The man is pretty successful. But here's what most of us don't regularly see. Stephen A. compromising. Stephen A. apologizing to his partner. Stephen A. being vulnerable. Stephen A. sitting at dinner listening instead of talking.
Exactly.
I know somebody just said, Jeff, that last one ain't happening. Yes. Now we got to leave that man alone. Because seriously, on this podcast, we talk to y'all because relationships expose dimensions of people that careers don't. Now, success lets people see what you're capable of. Relationships let people see what you are when you're not performing. And that's what humanizes people. And right now, Stephen A. doesn't have that. Rhonda, I'm coming to you this time. Does seeing a successful man in a healthy relationship make him more relatable to women?
Yeah, because I think most women are looking for somebody relatable, unfortunately. Because it is like I think you get a certain stigma if you're a woman of a certain age and you're not married, or if you don't have kids, or all the things. He's had his kids. I've never seen his children's mom or anything like that. But I'm cool with him keeping his life private, whatever that is. That's his prerogative. So yeah.
Okay. Mabricio, I'm coming to you. Does a relationship actually humanize somebody, or are we just protecting good qualities? Are we just projecting good qualities onto married people because we want marriage to be a fairy tale?
Oh. I will say this. It does humanize you because when people see that you're in a relationship, they think, oh, this guy is capable of vulnerability. He's capable of showing his emotions. He's capable of producing the picture. So in many cases, yes, it is a fairy tale because I know a lot of people think that's what a relationship is. It's just a fairy tale. So it does humanize you and actually makes you better in the spotlight to have a woman on your side. I know I'm going to get hate for that because, I'm new school. I'm going to get hate for that, but that is the case.
Guys, I want y'all to pay attention to that statement. We project good qualities on the married people because we want marriage to be something that is real. Because we got taught marriage was the solution. We didn't get taught marriage was the problem. And now Stephen A. not being married because he had to protect his wealth. He hangs around, he covers sports, he sees athletes losing everything. So he doesn't want to have a public or official relationship, because if it doesn't work out, guess what? That $100 million contract don't mean nothing once it gets hit by taxes, hit by alimony, hit by child support. That's the three things that strikes a man out. Because guys, that's the counter argument. A wedding ring doesn't prove character, because there are terrible husbands out there. There's terrible wives out there. There's also wonderful single people. So maybe we're subconsciously giving marriage too much credit. And the reason I want to have this conversation with you guys is because in corporate America back in the day, you could not get promoted unless you were married. Didn't matter if you were a good husband, good wife. People had to see that you had a solid foundation. You had something that you were responsible for at home. You knew how to go home instead of going out after the event was over. It was the impression that gave people security in you, that made people trust you. You couldn't be a single man and be the CEO. You had to be married. You couldn't be a single woman and be the CEO. You had to be married. We had to know the person you were with. You had to have a dinner where the spouse came and met the team. See what I'm saying, guys? This is what happened in business. Stephen A. Smith, we don't know officially who he's with. Officially. And what do I mean by that? Have we seen him out with people? Yes. Do we know there's somebody? Yes. This will be the time that he might want to bring her out. But for everybody else who going through some stuff, just know some attacks come because you're single. Why? Because the person who married is miserable, and now they out to try to destroy single people. Go ahead, Rhonda. I see your finger.
But maybe he's seen what has happened in the past with people who have put their people out there, and people could track them down.
Mm-hmm.
The internet is undefeated when it comes to stuff like that. So maybe he's seen that. Maybe he doesn't want that.
I agree.
Allegedly with his relationship or whoever. It would be interesting to see who she is, but I'm sure he knows what he's doing when it comes to that, with not exposing so much. Because again, we've seen men.
But I think she also has to understand.
So what now?
But and then Mabricio, I want your take, Mabricio. That's a good point, Rhonda. But when you're dating a public figure, you ain't gonna hide forever, right? You ain't gonna hide forever. Mabricio, what's your thought on that?
Skeletons always come out. Skeletons come out, whether by yourself, whether by who you're dating. People are always digging. I see that too, even on my live streams. People are always searching. They're finding different things. They remember facts. They remember what you said. They remember where you were. They look to see, hey, you can't keep this person hidden forever. We know she's out there. Just like Rhonda says, I have my princess out there. Rhonda's searching.
Princesses.
Rhonda's searching, okay?
No, I'm really not. You tell us. You tell us, sir.
Yeah.
We're good over here. No princesses. We're good.
But I want you guys to see this. And everybody watching. Does marriage make somebody seem more trustworthy? Not be more trustworthy. Seem more trustworthy. Because there's a huge difference. In the comment section, guys, type yes or no. Again, does marriage make somebody seem more trustworthy? Not be more trustworthy. Okay? Seem more trustworthy. There's a huge difference. So type yes or no. And explain this one. Because I want to know whether people subconsciously associate commitment with character. Okay? Do you associate commitment with character? Now, let's move to the next point, because we're getting closer to number 5. Now we're getting to the part where I think Stephen A's situation becomes fascinating. When Stephen A gets attacked, Stephen A defends Stephen A. And Stephen A is very good at defending Stephen A. We all watch him on First Take. We all watch him on his new YouTube channel now. But nobody is worried about that man finding words. We know he's blessed in that area. But sometimes, guys, your own defense isn't the most persuasive defense. Think about it. Your employer says you're wonderful. They're paying you. Your agent says you're wonderful. You're paying them. Your publicist says you're wonderful. Also getting paid by you. Your lawyer, definitely getting paid by you. Your spouse, different relationship. Imagine Stephen A's hypothetical wife walking to a microphone on that same podcast and saying, you know, the television personality, I know the man. I've watched what he's done for people privately, especially Black people. I've watched the phone calls all times and night when people needed help. I've watched the mentoring that nobody sees. I've watched the philanthropy. I've watched him help people who could never help him back, but he still did it anyway. So guys, disagree with his opinions, but don't tell me who this man's heart belongs to. Again, disagree with his opinions, but don't tell me who this man's heart belongs to. Now, would that make Stephen A. automatically right? Not at all. Would it invalidate NABJ's criticism? Of course not. But it would change the conversation before the designation of the thumbs down award comes down. Now, Rhonda, I'm coming back to you. Should spouses publicly defend each other when one partner is facing major criticism, or should the spouse say, that's your career, handle your own business? I think I know Rhonda's answer.
Before I answer that, I gotta say though, I wonder if he would have had that response if it was a man at the head of the NABG or whatever, BJ, whatever the thing is.
Okay.
Because he still, in essence, came after a Black woman, the same thing that they gave him the thumbs down for, if I'm understanding correct. Okay. Yeah. But your question was, it is the second one. Whatever you said second, that was my answer.
That's your career, handle your business.
You gonna do with that?
So, but I'm like, he still technically came after. The response was directed, yes, the organization, but it was a Black woman at the head of it. And I'm sure there are men sprinkled in that too when it comes to Black journalists, because hell, he is one. But yeah, no, so I think they have a right to choose who they want, just like he has a right to say whatever he wants on his platform. But who else does he come at like that outside of Black women? I don't know.
And guess what, Rhonda? I'm going to say this. I'm glad you answered it that way. Because I think his girl is telling him, you don't let me get involved, you go handle it the way you want to handle it. And I'm telling y'all right now, a lot of people don't realize that this person at home may agree with the person throwing the arrows at you. Because they watched your takes and they are sitting there like, man, I told you not to say this. You've been going crazy. Like, and again, guys, nobody challenges you more than the person you live with.
And she may not be Black.
Well, no, I think she is Black. Yeah, she might be light-skinned.
Okay. Yeah. There you go.
Right? Light-skinned. But my point to you is, guys, Rhonda may have a point. Now, a lot of us get taught in marriage that you got so much love and support. Mabricio just dropped a reel on social media. You need to be controlled by your partner, a permission slip, right? A cage with Wi-Fi. He just dropped that. If y'all ain't seen that reel, go watch it. Because maybe Stephen A. is projecting what's happening at home. He can't fight back at home. He can go on his show and be in complete control. And maybe that's why he's coming at women like that. We don't know. You see what I'm saying, Ron? We don't know, because if I'm getting hit at home and can't say nothing, what am I doing? I'm gonna go on my show. Anybody who look like the person, I'm gonna take it out on everybody. So we know why this happens. Now here's the deal, though, Mabricio. I'm coming to you with a different question. Here's the harder version. What if you think your spouse is wrong or your significant other is wrong? Do you defend them publicly and correct them privately, or do you refuse to defend something you don't believe?
I would say number one, but I'm not gonna lie, I act like number two. I act like number two. You disagree. Nothing we can do.
Lies.
Because the winning side is over here. The winning side's over here. What am I going to do? Step on a limb and disagree with my own opinion to defend you?
Yes.
To defend you? To correct you in private? For you to do it again? I mean, come on. I just don't see it. I would say number two. I side with number two.
Let me say this, and Mabricio, I can appreciate that answer. Ron, I can appreciate your answer. I'm gonna just give y'all my unsolicited opinion. I think Stephen A. fighting everybody since he got that $100 million deal. I think I think his girl at home. This is just my opinion, guys. I don't have no sources. When you get that kind of money and ain't nobody ever taught you, and all you've been knowing is scratching and clawing, grew up in Hollis, Queens, went to Winston-Salem State, started out as a beat reporter. You were not trained to be the $100 man at the top of the #1 sports channel in the world. he fighting everybody because nobody in your life was trained to be with you. And guess what? Whatever girl I got is based on my past, not based on my present. So I know the girl at home saying, yeah, I don't like you either. I told you not to say it. I told you to let Kamala go. I told you don't agree with Trump. I told you this. That's what the woman at home is saying. Y'all remember when Trump called Stephen A. dumb? And what people are saying is you didn't come at Trump like you come at black women, right? Rhonda just said it. So guys, no matter what side of the political aisle you're on, guys, I think what's happening to Stephen A. Smith publicly was already happening to him privately. Do y'all realize how much that man working? Look, you on ESPN 5 days a week. You're on Sirius XM radio 3 days a week. You got your podcast 3 days a week. You got to be on call if something happens in sports. You on other people's platforms. When does he have time to have a relationship defend him? Because in order for somebody to defend you, they actually have had to spend time with you. Right? Do y'all agree or disagree? Mabricio, what's your thoughts on that?
I agree 100%.
Yeah.
How can you say how can someone know my character if they don't spend time with me?
Yeah.
They can know the public perception, Mabricio's trash, whatever. This is this part of the hate, Stephen A might be getting that same hate too, but it's just there's no way of knowing my true character unless you spend time with me.
Yeah. Rhonda, what's your thoughts on that?
I want to know who called you trash. Did that to you?
Hey, Rhonda,
I seen the text messages, Rhonda. I seen the text messages.
I got two phones. I got lists on this phone, and this one got full. The storage is full, so now I have another one here for lists.
Thank you for that clarification.
Why am
I'm gonna take it to a different side of that with him and what he's battling. From what I have watched of him, it sounds like the most important person to him was his mom.
Yes.
And I think he's missing her too. I think in this particular moment, the one person he would have had to be able to have a real deal conversation with, but also respected her enough for her to tell him about him.
Yeah.
And if you don't have people like that could tell you about you, good, bad, or indifferent, I think that's huge for people who is in his position, making that much money. Like you said, at the top of all of the things, because even with someone that you're dating or married to or serious with, are you completely open all the time if you're not being down?
Yeah.
Like if you're not in a domestic violence situation, right? So I don't know. I could only imagine there has to be a level of loneliness with certain things in his life.
Stop right there. Misery loves company. Success is an island. Right? Misery loves company. Success is an island. Everybody who experiences success, the loneliness is just as intense.
Yeah.
Okay? The loneliness
that's this black
is...
woman's 2 cents. That's this black woman's 2 cents.
and Rhonda, we appreciate it. Because I'm going to tell y'all like this. Stephen A. hired black women. Stephen A. hires black women. He's trying. He goes to these HBCUs. He's doing everything with this money he has. But in the black community, they don't want money. They want real. Right? And it's hard to be real as he gets to the higher level. So when he brings his daughter on his podcast, it makes him human. But ain't nobody talking about him as a father. People are talking about him as a professional. And that's why you need the wife. A daughter is not going to humanize you. A wife will humanize you because everybody automatically assumes that the wife and the husband talk about everything. But in essence, a lot of times the spouse don't know what the other person going through. And that's the reality of marriage, right? Because again, you just trying to keep the peace. You trying to get it. You trying to get through the night so you can go back to work tomorrow. That's what you're trying to do, right? This is what a lot of people don't tell you. So I think Stephen A., he loves his mom. When his mom passed, he has his sisters. Now, here's the deal. He talks about when his dad walked out of his life, all that kind of stuff. But the problem is with Stephen A. now is everybody who cares about him is on his payroll. So now if everybody in your life is on your payroll, I know if once you get on payroll, you hate me. Right? You hate me because now I'm forced to say some stuff that I don't want to say. And I'm forced to hold my tongue when I don't because I can't cut off those resources. And that's what's happening with Stephen A. Right now, guys, remember, you learn to be rich when you're poor. Stephen A. Smith never got taught what to do with a $100 million contract. Who was going to teach him? Who gonna teach you how to have $100 million contract?
He has to have some mentor, don't you think? Something.
What mentor got $100 million contract? And I'm gonna tell you who. It's Sean Hannity on Fox News. Sean Hannity been making $25 million a year, right? Sean Hannity been making $100 million deals, right? Who is Stephen A. spending most of his time with?
Oh.
Who was he on last night with? Sean Hannity. And that's what, guys, the man is gonna run to that mentor. That's who the man is going to run to. The man is not running into the arms of another woman. The man is going to run to a stronger man and say, tell me what to do. These people ain't going to beat me. I'm down, but I'm not out. Stephen A. Smith going to keep swinging, guys. Why? Because when you go to other guys who make $100 million contract, they just going to tell you exactly what to do. That's the difference with this. Now, guys, if you're enjoying this conversation, hit like, because that tells YouTube we need more people in here arguing with us, man. We need y'all arguing with us in this thing. And hit subscribe if you're new. But more importantly, man, share this episode with your partner. Share this episode with your work wife or work husband. Don't tell them your answer. Just send it and ask. If the whole world turned against me tomorrow, what would you do?
Deuces.
Good luck. Good luck to everybody. We are not responsible for any arguments created by this podcast in your household tonight.
I'm just joking.
We just asking questions. Guys. Here's number 4. This isn't sexy, but I think it's powerful. A public couple can potentially build deeper community roots together, right? Here's where Stephen A. is missing it now. Imagine charity events. Imagine scholarships. Imagine mentoring programs. Imagine fundraisers. Imagine community organizations. Imagine professional events. Not Stephen A. showing up. Stephen A. and his spouse showing up. Over years and years and years. Not because cameras are there. Not because controversy happened. Because that's what they simply do. Now, people know both of them. Communities know the couple. Organizations know the couple. Families know the couple. And you're building something that I call relationship capital. So when controversy arrives, you have some money to spend. Now, and I want to be careful here. Philanthropy should never become immunity. Philanthropy should never stop you from being criticized. Doing good things doesn't mean nobody can challenge you. That's ridiculous. My argument is that sustained community involvement gives people more information to value your character or evaluate your character. That's different. Now, Mabricio, do couples have more influence in communities than successful individuals do alone?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because there's two of you. And let's take the man's point of view, for example. I'm a controversial man on this podcast, but you guys see the evidence of me and my woman out there. You see me holding her hand. You see me buying her flowers. You see me walking on the right side of the sidewalk. You see me holding the door. Okay. You see all these behaviors and you're like, well, maybe there's more than meets the eye with Mabricio. So my enemies out there are like, well, if I go after Mabricio and I know his woman, do I really want to involve his woman? There's more influence, okay? Just the same way that I can maybe negatively influence her if she's getting popular and I'm out here being like I don't want to curse on the stream, but I'm just acting in ways I shouldn't be. It can negatively influence her, vice versa. But there's a power in both. And in a relationship, you guys come together as one. So I will say definitely couples have more influence than just a single figure.
And Mabricio, I appreciate that answer. Rhonda, before I come to you, y'all think about everything I listed. Let's be honest. Stephen A. giving back to Winston-Salem State University. We from North Carolina, right? We from North Carolina, right? Stephen A. Smith giving back to his alma mater, Winston-Salem State University. Stephen A. is a member of Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated. Stephen A., we see him in the luxury box with the athletes. We see him sitting in the luxury box with Jerry Jones. We see him. When he walks in and ESPN profiles him like he's one of the athletes walking in. We see him. Okay? Rhonda, the question is, do couples have more influence in communities than successful in, Rhonda, sorry about that. Should your spouse be expected to participate in your philanthropy and professional community? Or should they be allowed to build a completely separate life?
If you're making $100 million a year, do what that man say.
When you say, Rhonda, repeat that. Do what that man what?
Do what he say for a little bit.
For a little
She back with, hey, Mabricio, she just,
Did she just say
Had
for a
to come
little
back
bit?
to my senses. Had to come back to my senses.
hell no.
Do what he say
Hell no.
for a little while. But you know how I feel about relationships. I think everybody should have their own stuff, man. Like you should have some stuff that's just what you do. Would you by yourself, you and your friends or whatever. But there's something about money that will get people to be what you need them to be out in public.
Yeah.
What you do behind closed doors, man, that's your business. But I'm sure with the circles that he's around, there has to be some level of a woman that would be fitting for where he is. But I would think he probably would have real high, unachievable standards from some of the snippets I've seen of him. So I don't know. But I do believe like they're making that much money. Okay, give them a chance. See what it's like. And then
I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say this, and Rhonda, I can appreciate your perspective. Mabricio, I appreciate your answer. Stephen A. has to have a woman beside him at the philanthropic stuff. You have to. Guys, if you're involved with somebody, they got to be at the philanthropic events. Matter of fact, they got to be on the board of the philanthropic event. This is what makes you human, and there's a reason. If you making that kind of money, people have to see that the person you're with is a giver as well.
So he needs a steadman.
Yes.
But a woman.
Yeah, so my point to you guys is this. When you want to make $100 million, if you want to make money, you can't be hiding women at that point. Hourly employees do that. When you making this kind of money, guys, that's what I love about going to the Dallas Cowboy game. When you look up in the Dallas Cowboy suite where Jerry Jones is sitting, who's sitting right next to him? The wife right in there. When you making that kind of money, guys, now we can't all say their life might be perfect when the cameras ain't on. But when you're making that kind of money, you can't have the hood mindset. You're going to have a public-facing woman. That don't mean she's the only woman. It don't mean you the perfect man. But one of the things you're going to find is when you're making that kind of money and you're doing philanthropic stuff, so when Stephen A. went to the NABJ conference the last couple years, the woman he was with should be there. The woman he was with should be there, walking in with him, all that kind of stuff. But Stephen A., guys, somebody said it in my comments on my video last night. Stephen A. wants to be seen, and he don't want nobody else in the spotlight. And guys, that's the worst thing that people can say about you if you have been given a lot. Because if you don't want nobody else in the spotlight with you, it ain't gonna be long before somebody can pluck you off. Every successful person got a body double and some decoys. At the end of the day, every successful person got a body double and decoys. Mabricio, what's your thoughts on that?
I just have a question for you. Does that mean that I need to locate a princess ahead of time so I can make sure that I have someone from the public?
Yeah.
Okay.
So what happens is, guys, the more you get promoted, the most important decision you can make is the forward-facing woman that you choose. Right? This is the whole point. That forward-facing woman, you better choose her because the attack gonna come. And you're going to have somebody who humanizes you. Everybody keeps wondering. Say what you want to say. This is why Hillary Clinton was so important. This is why Laura Bush was so important. This is why Michelle Obama was so important. This is why Melania was so important. No matter how you feel about her. This is why Jackie O was so important. No matter how you feel about her, you are not going to be a man of authority without a woman that's forward-facing, standing by you, even though you might be wrong. Because the country falls in love with the first lady while they hate you. Because I hate authority. But I love somebody that humanizes authority.
Yeah, for sure.
Y'all see what I'm saying? That's what, if I could teach Stephen A. anything, now obviously I don't make 100 million. Obviously I ain't nowhere close to that. But I study people who do. So if God ever blesses me to get to that point, I know how to handle it. But you start preparing before you get it. Versus, this is what Stephen A. shows. Stephen A. never planned for this. Stephen A. never thought ESPN would give him this much clout, because you can't get trained for it because there's nobody who can teach you. But the most important thing you're going to have when that money come up is the woman that's forward facing. And now relationships are so bad that people like Stephen A don't want to take a chance at losing everything. We talk about this every week. People are not trying to get into formal relationships. Why lose everything? Rhonda, what's your thoughts on that before we move to number 5?
Of course, if you don't think like that, look at Joker. Look, are we gonna go down the list? Who need to watch? You better be careful. You better be careful who you lock arms with or private parts with. You better watch
Because
to protect you, the investment of you.
Yeah,
because you can lose it all, and you probably could bounce back. You probably could, but not at no 100 million.
not at 100 million, you ain't bouncing back.
No.
I might can bounce back off 30,000. I ain't bouncing back off 100 million.
So you do have to choose wisely. The sad part about that too is though you don't know who he could actually be vulnerable around. Because at the end of the day, that's what matters, right? Who can I really let my hair down with and be like just to vent? No, because if it's going to be used against you, why are we going to do that?
Everybody on the chat,
they making your 100 million.
Everybody on the chat, when you make that kind of money, there ain't nobody you can let your hair down around. Everybody is the enemy. Why are they the enemy? Not because they throwing arrows at you. People see the 100 million. They don't see the work that goes into getting it. They are attacking the 100 million. That's why everybody is an enemy. Nobody knows the work that goes into getting it. Mabricio, what's your thoughts on that before we move to number 5?
Yeah, people always look for the final product. They don't look for the process. People love the result.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's why the lottery Powerball was, what was it, like 1.5 billion, something like that, something of staggering figures. Everybody's like, one day I'll get that 1.5 billion, and that's why people end up losing that, because they don't know the process of getting that money. And when that falls on their lap, they don't know how to retain it because no one ever taught them how to do that.
Absolutely.
So people fall in love with the result, but they don't fall in love with the process of getting that money.
I'm glad Mabricio said that. People ask me, Jeff, what kind of car do you drive? They don't ask me how many calls I make. They don't ask me how many meetings I have. They don't ask me how many emails I send.
Nobody care about that.
Don't nobody care about that.
No.
Right? What kind of car you drive? How you get there? Nobody asks the journey. They just want the destination. People attack the destination. That's why find a woman that understands the journey. Don't find a woman who's there when the destination happens. Because now you're going to have to have your guard up the entire time. So, guys, let's get to number 5. This is the entire reason I wanted to do this episode tonight. Successful people eventually develop a dangerous problem. People stop telling them no. Think about it. Your employees, you signing their checks. Your manager, you're making them more money than they ever made before. Your network, you're generating their TV ratings. Your fans, they already love you. Your entourage, guess what? They want to be in the luxury box too. They ain't gonna say nothing to you. Everybody starts saying, Jeff, that's brilliant. Rhonda, great idea. Mabricio, you're absolutely right. And you desperately need one person sitting somewhere saying, nope, dumbest thing I'd ever heard. Let's put a little wait a minute on it. Now, Stephen A is brilliant at communicating. That's undeniable. But when you're giving opinions constantly, sports, politics, culture, race, relationships, celebrities, guys, eventually you're going to say something that lands differently than you intended. And that appears to be the case here. And maybe the greatest advantage of having a serious partner is that they know you, but they aren't impressed by you. Guys, imagine Stephen A rehearsing some fiery take at home. He's pacing around the house. And another thing, y'all know how Stephen A talks.
Okay.
And his wife or girl looks up from her phone and says, Stephen, what the hell? Man, you better not say that.
Yeah, sit your ass down.
Right? You better not say that. Stephen A gonna say, why not? Because I understand what you're trying to say, but that's not what everybody's going to hear. And guys, that woman, don't tell you to not say it. They just saying don't say it like that. As a person who's listening, it ain't coming across as how you intended. And that's worth millions. Now, your partner shouldn't control your voice, but they might be the only person who can tell you how your voice sounds outside of your own head. That's not a cage with Wi-Fi. That's partnership. Mabricio, I'm coming to you. Is it your partner's responsibility to save you from yourself?
I like the cage with Wi-Fi. I think that was good. That was good.
Of course.
Reminds me of my video last night. But yes, just say that one more time. You say, should your partner...
Is it your partner's responsibility to save you from yourself?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Now, a good partner will try, and I can already see Rhonda scheming over there because I know what she's about to say, too. I know what she's about to say. Women try all the time. They're trying to look out for their man. That's why
Have you read my shirt tonight?
We already know what's coming. But it should be the man's responsibility. Okay, that's why we always say, we talk about on this podcast, we talk about mentors. We talk about somebody at a higher level playing there. Because your woman can tell you what she believes is the right move, but a mentor can tell you, hey, come on, get your head back in the game. This is what's going on. They can guide you on a better path. As a guy, you got to look for what resources you have to yourself. You got to analyze your own situations. But I don't think that a woman should be held liable for keeping her man in check.
Interesting. Rhonda, before I come to you, I think it's clear. Y'all give me your thoughts on this, Rhonda, before I come to you with your question. Actually, let me ask your question first. If your partner is constantly editing your personality to make you acceptable to everybody else, are they helping you or controlling you?
They're controlling, and why are we together? Rhonda, get yourself together and get out.
Mm-hmm.
Putting in $100 million, okay?
Somebody got to protect the asset.
I mean,
somebody got to protect the asset.
I don't know why this investment acting up. I don't know why this investment is acting up right now. But
Rhonda, I'm glad you said that. Because it depends, guys. Is the girl you with a part of the journey? Or is the girl you with a part of the $100 million destination? Because the one you meet at the $100 million destination, she going to edit everything you say. Because she knows how to be with a man that's making $100 million.
Yeah, that's
the one on the journey afraid to lose the $100 million.
Yeah.
And scared money don't make money.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I'm gonna ask y'all this. Here's my question. That's gonna get everybody. Is it true? Is it pretty evident that Stephen A. don't have a work wife?
I'd say so.
He don't need a work wife. The stakes are too high.
Look.
No.
Look, Rhonda, give me your thoughts on that.
Work wives and work husbands are for regular folk. It's different type of struggles, I would imagine, for $100+ million. I don't know.
Rhonda,
they may need 4 girlfriends and a wife on the side. He may need that.
Rhonda, I'm gonna say this to you though. He makes $100 million, but he's still employed.
Yeah.
Okay, Mabricio, what's your thoughts on that?
And then that disregards like all these top figures in companies getting caught. The Coldplay concert is a perfect example.
Yes,
you need to have that. You need to have that work wife. What's going to keep you grounded? Your woman at home's not going to keep you grounded. Let's be real here. It's important and it's necessary for the soul.
I think it's clear. Stephen A. Smith don't trust nobody personally, and he damn sure don't trust nobody at work. Remember when they were saying they were trying to say that he was the reason Jalen Rose and Molly Karen broke up? They try to put him with all these women at ESPN, but we ain't heard of no scandal about a work wife. My question is, if Stephen A. had a work wife, like Mabricio are we even having this podcast? Is he even being caught up in this controversy?
Nope.
No. Go ahead, Mabricio.
Yeah, he would not be caught up. Like I said, he'd be kept grounded. I see Rhonda's face over there disagreeing, and it's probably what a lot of the audience is sharing too. But guys, if you guys don't have a work wife, you wouldn't understand. If you don't have a work wife, you wouldn't understand. Work husband, work wife, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
If you don't have it, you would not understand. Because even at the highest levels, like Jeff said, he's still employed. He's still employed. So
He's
at the end
still
of the day,
employed.
he's still reporting to someone, just like we all are.
If he doesn't have a work wife, that would explain a lot of what's happening here. Because nobody understands what he's dealing with, so he just showing up, spraying everywhere. He don't care. He gonna let it get off his
So
chest. He don't have nobody to bounce it off
right
of.
now, huh? He in
I'm
heat.
sorry.
I said he's in heat right now.
Oh yeah. Look, the way Stephen A. is in an island by himself, and that's why I can tell he don't have a work wife. If he does, I'd be shocked, because a work wife would neutralize all of this. The work wife would have neutralized it. He don't do his own makeup when he on ESPN, right? There's people there serving the job role, but there's nobody there serving him. Because here's the deal. A regular wife ain't qualified to do the stuff we talking about. But guess who is? The work wife is what holds it all together, because they understand. They the glue that holds it all together. And that's why Stephen A. at 100 million, guys, you better have people on in that building. That's that work wife and that's that work husband. Because nobody else is going to understand.
But as polarizing as he is, I think that would be a thing to where it would be so difficult even to have a work wife in that particular setting.
No, Rhonda, it's easier. It's easier for him because he's the top. The work wife the work wife and work husband are designed to serve the top producer. They already know how to do it. See, this is the whole point. He the top producer. Matter of fact, he might have multiple work wives. People don't understand in a corporate setting. Stephen A. Smith is rejecting it. But if Stephen A. Smith accepted it, we might be avoiding all of this. Because the more money you make and the authority you have, the woman at home may not understand what's happening in that building. But the work wife and work husband does. Now, there's a problem with everything I said tonight.
Absolutely.
And this is where I might lose my own argument. Marriage is not a public relations strategy. You don't get married because your Q score needs improvement. You don't swipe right because your publicist needs backup. You don't walk down the aisle thinking, finally, I have a crisis management solution. That's absolutely ridiculous. And here's something else. Maybe Stephen A. loves the freedom that comes from being publicly unattached. Maybe he doesn't want somebody helping craft his message. Maybe he doesn't want somebody's reputation connected to every controversial opinion he gives. Here's the deal, because both of y'all are single. Maybe being single allows Stephen A. to simply be Stephen A. Because Stephen A. looking at too many married people who stopped being themselves and started being their spouse's pet. And if that's the case, maybe the very thing I'm calling his vulnerability is actually his damn superpower. So I'm giving both of you the same question. No political answers. No sitting on the fence. You gotta choose. Does a healthy marriage or relationship make a powerful person more effective? Or does staying single give us a powerful person more freedom? Rhonda, marriage or freedom, why?
You gotta take freedom.
Why?
You gotta take freedom. Because again, at the end of the day, when you come home and it's just you, and you can do what you want to do, and just be, okay, maybe you'll send a good night text to somebody that, if you want to check a box, but you don't have to do anything. When you're married, there are things that you have to do. There's things that's required of you. There's things that are considered obligations from my understanding. I'm on the outside looking in.
Okay.
I'm on the outside looking in. But I'm going to choose freedom each and every day.
Okay. Mabricio, marriage or freedom and why?
Married.
Marriage. My type of marriage, okay? Not the traditional sense of marriage, my type of marriage, okay? We got my marriage is a business. We got our employees, we got our different departments, okay? The wife doesn't come to me, she comes to customer service. We have this, it is my own kind of freedom because I'm managing the business, okay?
Oh my gosh.
I'm managing the business. So
single.
I will say marriage because then I can focus on my strengths. I'm putting myself in a position in the company where I can focus on my strengths. And in a way, it's freedom in itself.
And guys, I got to tell you, here's where I land. I don't know what being married would have prevented Stephen A. Smith from receiving that award. Nobody can know that. And if an organization believes someone public commentary deserves criticism, a wedding ring shouldn't make that criticism disappear. But I do believe Stephen A's public image would be different because we'd have another window into the man, not just Stephen A, the personality, Stephen A, the partner, Stephen A, the listener, Stephen A, the compromiser, Stephen A, the man somebody else chose and who chose somebody back. And most importantly, guys, he potentially has somebody whose interests aren't the ratings, the clicks, the contracts, or money. Their interest is authentically him. And maybe that's the real relationship advantage. No protection from criticism, but protection from becoming so powerful that nobody can criticize you before the rest of the world does. And that's completely different. So my answer, marriage or freedom, I'm choosing marriage every time because marriage is going to take the 100 million and make it 1 billion. Because at the end of the day, I can't be worried about losing it. The moment I get the 100 million, I got to push it all to the middle of the table. That's why Jeff Bezos is married. That's why Zuckerberg is married. When you see it, you got to push that to the table. Everything you make, you got to sacrifice. And marriage at that level has different guardrails than marriage at the regular person's level. That's the big difference. We're talking about merger and acquisition time now versus the fairy tale love. So guys, now you have to decide. Remember what I asked at the beginning. Are married public figures treated differently than publicly single figures? Now I want your answer. Yes or no. But here's the bigger question. Would being married have changed the Stephen A situation with the NABJ? Yes or no? I want the comments fighting this one out respectfully. And don't just say yes. Don't just say no. Make your case, guys. And I know we've been here for a while, but if you watch all the way to the end, guys, go ahead and hit like. Because apparently you enjoy watching three people turn one Stephen A. Smith headline into a damn hour-long segment.
Yes.
Hit subscribe. Hit subscribe because we're doing it again next week. And share this episode with somebody who's married and somebody who's happily single. I specifically want both perspectives in the comments. And if your significant other disagrees with your answer, don't argue. Just tell them, take it up with Rhonda and Mabricio. They'll take the heat. Guys, Mabricio, what's your final thought for the night?
Guys, woman, I know it was an hour podcast. And if you miss any takeaways, make sure you rewatch the podcast and you rewatch it again. Like we always do. Comment, we're reading the comments. DM us, we're reading the DMs. You disagree, you agree. It's all good. You can come find me at Mabricio and find me on Instagram at mabricio.cardenas.
Appreciate it, Rhonda. What's your final thought?
Ladies, just know when something is an investment and when something is a liability. That's it. You can find me on Instagram at RNBLNBT and TikTok at RonDZ_.
Man, I appreciate y'all being on. My final thought is, remember, don't be in business without the proper business tools. And if done right, marriage and relationships are a business tool. They're not an emotional one. And if it's done right, Stephen A. Smith would have had some of these arrows a lot more blunted, and it wouldn't hurt as hard. But right now, he got a rocky road ahead of him because he's realizing that the community has turned on him, and that's a bad feeling to have. The same people you give the appearance that you're doing the most for have said, we don't want you no more. And at the end of the day, when you can look at what you gave them and they turn on you, does it hurt? Yeah, but turn hurt into increase, man. And y'all know what it is. It's Smoke Something, Drink Something podcast, man. I'm the Real Cigar Jeff. Get down in the description. Support the channel. Get the merch, man. Follow me on all the platforms. And until next week, guys, we gonna holler.
Hot beat, smoke it, drink it down. With your boys, it got Jeff around. Feel the vibe, we're set to roll. Let's play, let's lose control. Sip a drink and smoke will swirl. Join the convo around the world. Relationships we dissect slow. Current events, we let them flow.